Tonight, we are hearing from Neil Heslin, who is speaking out about the tragic death of his 6-year-old son, Jesse, who was killed during the tragedy at Sandy Hook Elementary School. Heslin is opening up about his conversation with the gunman's father. Let's listen. Neil, did he give any explanation for why an obviously troubled person would have an arsenal in his room?
Based as the time went on and a lot more facts came out, and I knew the facts firsthand. But we really didn't talk much about it, the guns or the arsenal or the weapons or any of that. We didn't touch on that too much. But you know, everybody you talk to has a different view. They say it's a mental health issue. Other groups say it's a gun issue. It's many issues. It's school security, which there was a lack of. You have the most valuable thing in our lives, our children. And you know, why wasn't there more security there? At the high school, you have an armed police officer for years. We've had him. Why not at the elementary school? Now, pretty much all the towns and all the schools have a police officer. In the case of Sandy Hook, I feel it would have been a strong deterrent, if not prevented what happened. Adam Lanza picked the weakest link, women and children, who had they were the most vulnerable. They had no defense towards him. Most of them probably never even heard gunfire before. It's also a mental health issue. You have somebody who, Adam Lanza was diagnosed with Asperger's, whether he had other mental illnesses, schizophrenia, I don't know. That's something that was never determined. But that's something that needs to be addressed. How do you identify a person like him? And how do you keep firearms and guns and dangerous weapons and dangerous elements out of his hands?
Yeah.
And getting back to the guns, it's gun violence. It happened with a gun. And there's changes that we can make with all those issues. With the background checks, I feel very strong if we had a background check system in place, it would, so many of these tragedies that happen, it would help identify people such as him who have mental problems and who shouldn't have firearms. Although those guns were registered to his mother or purchased through his mother. It's prohibited by federal law to have a registry, but they were purchased by his mother. He had clear access to them. There was a gun vault in the house. There was no forced entry into it. Gun accountability and liability comes into play there. If the mother was to have survived, I feel very strongly she should have been held accountable for not keeping those guns secured that were in her name. Adam Lanza probably could have went into a sporting goods store and, well, he could have. Legally, he had no record or that would have prohibited him from purchasing a firearm. But if there was a good background system in place that would identify people with a mental illness or mental problems, whether it be depression or restraining orders or whatever, it could have helped.
In addition to these playgrounds, there's also other ways that you're keeping his memory alive, including a scholarship fund.
That's correct.
And the first scholarship's going to be awarded next month, right?
In June, yes. And that will be awarded to a Shelton High School student. Meet certain criteria. I was a graduate of Shelton High School, and after December 14th, some of the fellow classmates wanted to do something to help me and to honor Jesse, and it developed into a scholarship fund which we would award every year, forthcoming in Jesse's honor. I've wanted to do more for the community, and along with keeping Jesse's honor alive, and next year I plan on, and every year thereafter, awarding a scholarship in Stanford at the high schools in Jesse's honor and his memory.
You've said it, and I can only imagine. And it was every parent's nightmare when we saw this story unfold in front of our eyes, that the grace that you and the other families have had, and really the courage to talk as openly as you have and stay out there on the subject, it really, no exaggeration, Neil, is inspiring. And I know that it's hard, but you keep doing it. So I really want to say thank you, sharing some time with us today, and to continue to do these things.
Thank you.
And I know that a lot of people feel for you, and your family, and the other families too. But you know, Jesse was inspiring for a lot of things that happened that day, and it's an awful day. But hopefully these things remember him as he should be remembered, as an amazing little kid.
Well, you know, I want to continue to try to do things to make something positive come out of something so awful and so terrible. The playground is something positive, something good that came out of something bad. All the good in the world's never going to outweigh the bad, but the scholarships are something that can give back and keep his honor and memory alive. But I received over 1 million letters and cards. That's just an estimate with all the mailboxes I had, and over 500,000 emails. It just touched people from around the world. I have a letter from a woman in, I think it's a woman anyways, in Japan. I've never been able to read the letter. It's written in Japanese, 6 or 7 pages. I have letters from cards, condolences from Australia, from Iraq, from Afghanistan, places in the Far East, UK, Russia. I think every country around the world I've received some sort of a condolence from. It's just amazing, and I think with the tragedy, you know, it's brought a lot of good out in people. One thing Jesse did say, actually the night before he was murdered, was it was going to be the best Christmas ever. Yeah, we'll make it the best we can, Jess. You're what makes it good for me. And after the December 14th, I thought to myself, boy, was he ever wrong about that? And when all the support and the people came to Newtown, and teddy bears, and this was all within a week period, I realized he was right. It was going to be the best Christmas ever. It was about the true meaning of Christmas, giving and being there for and not receiving. So part of it was the best Christmas ever for me, but the other part was it was the worst Christmas ever.
Well, Neil, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I really do appreciate you spending some time, and again, I know you've got tough anniversaries ahead of you this year, but like we said, it takes a lot to still staying out there and talk about this, and we really appreciate it.
Thank you.
We'll be right back on RFL right after this.